Is one seemingly harmless habit draining your energy, eroding your confidence, and keeping you stuck? You're exhausted, unmotivated, and caught in a loop you can't seem to break. But what if the key to unshakable self-control and authentic masculinity has been hiding in plain sight? Stick with me, because once you hear this, you'll never see that habit the same way again. We're talking about masturbation, a subject most avoid, yet one that affects nearly everyone. You've probably heard it's normal, even healthy. But have you ever really questioned that belief? What if this so-called harmless habit is silently sabotaging your potential? The ancient Stoics, some of history's sharpest minds, understood something our modern world tries to dismiss. They recognized the power of discipline, the dangers of indulgence, and the path to true self-mastery. Today, I'm going to share their wisdom so you can take back control, reclaim your strength, and transform your life. The problem. How this habit is holding you back. Let's be real, you've felt it. The guilt afterward. The lack of motivation. The emptiness that follows, like something inside you is slipping away. But why does this keep happening? Science gives us a clue. Every time you indulge, your brain releases a huge surge of dopamine, the chemical behind pleasure and reward. Sounds great, right? Not exactly. Because the more you chase that easy high, the more your brain gets wired to crave it. It becomes a cycle of addiction, and just like any addiction, it has consequences. You feel drained, weakened, detached from your goals. Why chase real achievement when your brain already feels rewarded without doing anything meaningful? The Stoics saw this clearly, long before modern science confirmed it. They warned against giving in to base desires and losing yourself to temporary pleasures. But what exactly did they teach? And how can their insight help you break free? The Stoic wisdom. Escaping the trap of pleasure. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, once said, "No man is free who is a slave to his body." That's exactly the trap. When you let desire control you, you reinforce a mindset of dependency. You tell yourself, "I need this," when in reality, it's controlling you. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, preached the importance of mastering your impulses. A man who cannot control his desires, he believed, could never be truly free. The more you pursue fleeting pleasure, the more you distance yourself from true fulfillment. The more you seek comfort, the more you weaken your inner strength. Here's the truth, every great man, warrior, leader, or visionary, had one thing in common. They mastered their desires. They refused to let impulses dictate their destiny. And that discipline is what set them apart from the rest. The solution, reclaiming your power. So how do you break the cycle? How do you rise above a habit that's quietly robbing you of your drive? The answer lies in three timeless Stoic principles: self-discipline, purpose, and transmutation. 1. Self-discipline, the gateway to freedom. Epictetus said, "No man is truly free who is not master of himself." This is where your power begins. The moment you refuse to be ruled by your desires is the moment you start becoming the man you were meant to be. Self-discipline isn't about punishment, it's about choosing long-term value over short-term relief. Every time you resist the urge, you build resilience. You sharpen your will. And slowly, the habit loses its grip on you. 2. Purpose, replacing the habit with meaning. The Stoics believed a man without purpose is a man adrift. And that's why so many fall into the trap, there's no greater mission pulling them forward. But when you're focused on building something, whether it's a business, a craft, or your legacy, there's no time or energy left for trivial distractions. The key is to replace the habit with a pursuit that truly energizes you, something that demands your full attention and rewards you with real satisfaction. 3. Transmutation, channeling your energy. Throughout history, great minds and warriors understood a secret: sexual energy is the most powerful force within a man. Waste it, and you waste your edge. But redirect it, and it becomes a driving force behind creativity, ambition, and mastery. Nikola Tesla, one of the most brilliant innovators of all time, remained celibate because he knew this. He understood that energy conserved could be converted into genius-level focus and output. The Stoics echoed this idea: don't waste your energy on empty gratification, use it to build, to lead, to become. The climax: what life looks like on the other side. Imagine this. You wake up energized, focused, clear-minded, free of guilt. You feel powerful, because you are no longer ruled by impulses, but fueled by discipline. Your confidence rises. Your ambition sharpens. Your testosterone levels increase. And most importantly, you control your mind, not the other way around. This is the freedom the Stoics spoke of. Not just freedom from a habit, but freedom to become who you were truly meant to be. Conclusion: the choice is yours. So now you face a choice. Will you remain stuck in the cycle, letting this habit drain your potential? Or will you rise above it, take back control, and pursue true mastery? Remember, no man who ever achieved greatness was a slave to his urges. The ones who changed the world were those who first conquered themselves. The rebirth of the disciplined man. You've come this far. You've faced the uncomfortable truth, examined your habits, and glimpsed what life could be like on the other side of self-mastery. And now comes the most important part, not just understanding the message, but embodying it. Let's make something clear: this isn't about morality. It's not about shame, guilt, or pretending to be pure. This is about power. This is about the difference between a man who is a slave to his urges and a man who commands his destiny. The ancient Stoics understood this distinction well. They knew that unchecked desire leads to a fragmented life. A life of distraction, weakness, and regret. But a man who commands his mind, who channels his energy, who resists indulgence for the sake of a higher mission, that man is dangerous, disciplined, and deeply alive. In the world we live in, you're being trained to be soft. You're told that comfort is your birthright, that pleasure is a virtue, and that indulgence is self-care. You're bombarded with images, messages, and technologies engineered to steal your attention and sell it to the highest bidder. Every screen you look at, every app you open, every algorithm you scroll is designed to weaken you, little by little, until you forget what you're capable of. But here's the truth. The world doesn't need more compliant men. It needs more dangerous men. Men who can feel their urges, face them, and conquer them. Men who have the discipline to say no when every part of them screams yes. Men who build legacies instead of wasting time on meaningless pleasure. The cost of compromise. You may think that something as simple as quitting a habit isn't a big deal. But every decision you make is a vote for the kind of man you are becoming. Every time you indulge a destructive habit, you vote for weakness. You vote for delay. You vote for a future version of yourself that is further away from greatness, further away from freedom, further away from mastery. Most men don't fail because of one dramatic event. They fail in quiet moments, when no one is watching. When they say, just this once. When they trade long-term strength for short-term relief. When they let comfort creep in and erode their standards. But that doesn't have to be your story. You can be the kind of man who rises, not by luck, not by chance, but by choice. By aligning your life with higher principles. By choosing discomfort over ease. Mission over mood. Discipline over dopamine. That's the path of the modern Stoic. That's the path of the dangerous man. The rise of the inner warrior. Imagine your life as a battlefield. On one side is distraction, indulgence, and weakness, soft comforts that dull your edge. On the other side is focus, restraint, and fire, a sharpened will that leads to dominance and fulfillment. Every day you wake up, you choose which side to fight for. There is a warrior inside you. He's not loud. He doesn't need to prove himself. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He simply watches, prepares, and acts. He knows that the world is chaotic and often unfair, but he doesn't complain, because he doesn't expect life to be easy. He expects it to be a test. And he embraces the challenge. That warrior doesn't waste time with petty pleasures. He doesn't drain his energy chasing highs. He saves that energy. Stores it. Refines it. Transmutes it into creativity, power, and purpose. He builds. He protects. He conquers. And when other men are distracted, drained, and defeated, he is focused, fueled, and free. That warrior is you. But you must wake him up. True freedom, what the Stoics really meant. Let's go deeper into what the Stoics were trying to teach us. When Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself," he wasn't making a poetic observation. He was issuing a warning. He was telling you that a man who lacks inner control is not free, he is a prisoner. A prisoner to his biology. A prisoner to media. A prisoner to lust, to laziness, to fear. A man who cannot say no is a man who cannot say yes to anything that matters. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is doing what is necessary, even when you don't want to. It's choosing training over temptation. Reading over scrolling. Building over binging. Growing over coasting. And that kind of freedom demands sacrifice. It requires letting go of the false comforts you've grown attached to, especially the ones that feel the most satisfying in the moment. Stoic freedom is hard-earned. It's not for everyone. But it's the only path to a life of depth, power, and purpose. What you gain when you let go. You may be wondering, if I quit this habit, what do I get in return? Here's what you gain. Mental clarity. Without the fog of constant dopamine spikes, your mind becomes sharper. You think clearly. You make better decisions. You see opportunities where before there was only distraction. Energy. What once drained you now fuels you. Your mornings become powerful instead of sluggish. Your body feels lighter. Your thoughts feel faster. Confidence. When you conquer your own urges, you walk differently. You look people in the eye. You speak with calm certainty. You no longer carry the guilt of weakness, you carry the pride of discipline. Time. You stop wasting hours on meaningless indulgence and start reclaiming your schedule. That time compounds into mastery, momentum, and progress. Purpose. Instead of floating from pleasure to pleasure, you become anchored in mission. You set goals that matter. You build a legacy. You live intentionally. Respect, from others, but more importantly, from yourself. You begin to trust your own word. You begin to feel worthy of success, because you've earned it. And all of that begins when you decide to stop being ruled by a habit that brings you nothing but emptiness. But what if you fail? You will stumble. You will feel urges. You may relapse. That's part of the process. But failure is not falling, it's staying down. The Stoics never asked for perfection. They asked for progress. For effort. For awareness. They believed that setbacks were tests of character, not the end of the journey. So if you fall, get back up. Don't spiral into guilt. Don't call yourself weak. Recognize the lesson, recommit, and return to the path stronger. Each time you overcome, you reinforce a new identity. Each day you resist, you prove to yourself that you are not a slave. And eventually, your default becomes power, not indulgence. The man on the other side. Visualize the man you'll become if you commit to this path. He is focused. Grounded. Respected. He walks with purpose. He leads others, by example, not noise. He has control over his thoughts, his body, his time. He builds, he inspires, he conquers. This man isn't chasing validation. He doesn't need to brag or posture. He radiates strength, because he lives with integrity. Because he has conquered himself. This man is not ruled by urges. He commands his energy. He owns his mind. And because of that, he owns his future. That man is waiting for you. He's not far away. He's on the other side of one decision. The decision to rise. You are not alone. The journey you're about to begin is not easy. But you don't walk it alone. Across the world, there is a silent brotherhood of men waking up. Men who are tired of mediocrity. Men who are choosing discipline. Men who are rising from the ashes of comfort and becoming dangerous again. They are rejecting the lies. They are reclaiming their edge. They are living like warriors in a world that wants them tame. And you can be one of them. Join the movement. Share your story. Hold the line. Encourage your brothers. Rise with them. Because this isn't just about you, it's about every man you'll influence when you become who you were born to be. The final call to action. So here we are. The beginning of the end, and the start of a new life. The question is no longer, what if? The question is, when will you rise? When will you stop handing your power to a habit that offers nothing in return? When will you stop waiting for permission to become the man you were meant to be? When will you look in the mirror and say, no more? Let this be the moment. Let this be the turning point. Let this be the rebirth of your masculine edge. Because history doesn't remember the men who indulged. It remembers the men who mastered themselves, and then mastered the world. Now, the decision is yours. Stay stuck. Or rise. Be ruled. Or reign. Live for comfort. Or live for greatness. The world is waiting. Your future self is watching. And your destiny is calling. Step into it. Your journey to self-mastery doesn't start tomorrow. It starts now.